What the heck? It should be playing my freaking stream intro. It says that it's playing. It says it's sharing a window and audio, but I'm going and looking at my stream right now, and that shit's dead as a goddamn doornail. What the hell? What's going on? I'm having to go back and check my own freaking stream here. What's up? What's the 411, ladies and gentlemen? How's everybody doing today on the Aiden Linden live stream? Can you guys hear me? Everything good? Let me just double check here. I'm going to go listen to my own live stream really quickly just to make sure. Oh, that'd probably be it. That would probably be it. But I can put it up. I put the thing up. What's up? It's just showing a blank stream, but we hear you. Cool. Cool. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to put my intro on really quickly here, my little intro track, just to let people join up on the live stream. A little bit of a technical glitch there for you, just to begin the day. Don't you love live stream glitches? Everybody out there on YouTube that's done a stream, they all know. They all know what's up. Let's try this again. Hey, in the motherfucking hey, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going today? What's up? What's going on? Which is better, smooth, or rough sex? This is a good question, Monsieur Claude. A very good one indeed. That's Kenny G. I am not going to confirm nor deny whether that's Kenny G. That's up to you to decide, Big Bad Mama. I'm filtering my way out. You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. I really can't blame you. I wasn't planning on doing 2 streams back to back, truth be told, but I got some really S tier, top shelf content fodder for you today, ladies and gentlemen. And why is it top shelf? Because it seems like I've gotten to the point where I'm not making content off of other people anymore. Other people are making content off of me. I got some posts I'm gonna take a little bit of a look at. Gonna do a little bit of fact checking on those today, ladies and gentlemen. But before I go and do that, I think I'm going to do the penultimate classic, the stream opener. Oh, I didn't loop the frickin' thing. I was like, why isn't it looping? It's because I didn't set the frickin' thing to loop. I don't know if you people realize this, but setting up a stream, especially on a platform as janky as Restream, that's got to be pretty similar, at least in principle, to like getting a 3-piece suit on before you go to a major event. You know why I say that? Because you got to get the stream made. And then after you got the stream made, you got to prepare your scenes. And then you've got to make sure that the scenes are playing in the right order. And then on top of that, you got to make sure that those scenes that are playing in the right order don't play muted or unmuted. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you just sat here and listened to me bitch and complain about it anyway. I'm not hitting like until I get a shout out. Spooky, you will always get a shout out on this show. You need only arrive at this live stream, and I will shout you out without hesitation. Hey, everybody, go and check out Spooky Bed Hair. And while you're checking out Spooky Bed Hair, before you click off of this stream, because it's boring as hell, make sure that you hit that like button. Because hitting that like button keeps me in the algorithm. And even if you don't like me, as some of these people express in their posts, that doesn't mean that you don't like talking about me. And keeping me in that algorithm will keep you, it'll keep you talking about me as long as you want to. There's plenty of content fodder. Plenty of content fodder to be had. I'm just getting started. And I've already got me some professional haters 1 month into things. But anyways, enough with my inane bullshit. Let's get to our first segment, the classic segment, Trump without Trump.
It's Trump without Trump. You won't have to listen to his voice or see his face. This quote is unedited and 100% accurate. This is from Trump's speech to military generals and admirals on September 30th, 2025. These are the words of the President of the United States of America. That you couldn't get people to join the armed forces. And by the way, the police also. Fire department. I always put the fire department in because they're great. They're great. And I got 95% of their vote too. That helps when you get 95% of the vote. You always have to mention them. But they're great. And they're brave in our inner cities, which we're going to be talking about because it's a big part of war now. It's a big part of war. But the firemen go up and ladders and, people shooting at them while they're up and ladders. I don't even know if anybody heard that. And I said, don't talk about it much. But I think you have our firemen are incredible. They're up on these ladders. It goes way up to the sky, rescuing people. And you have animals shooting at them. Shooting bullets at firemen that are way up in death territory. You fall off that ladder over and it's over. They don't even have to inspect you when you hit the ground. And yet, people are shooting bullets at them in some of these inner cities. We're not going to let that happen. So I always mention the firemen because that's actually the problem we have. They're unbelievable like you. They're unbelievable people. Donald J. Trump.
Wow. Those brave firemen, they're shooting the bullets at him. They're shooting the bullets at him, folks. Sounds like a kindergartner. I know. I think the most articulate I've ever seen him be on this segment was probably a couple of shows ago. It was pretty mundane a couple of shows ago. It wasn't too bad. But yeah, Dementia Donnie is out in fucking force today, ladies and gentlemen. He is out in force. Listen here, ladies and gentlemen. They're shooting at the firefighters. They're up there in the building. They're in the death territory. And they're shooting the bullets at them. It's like, oh, Mr. Trump, where did they shoot the bullets at them? Is there any footage of this? I don't need to play you the footage, folks. It's all over. It's all over the place. Those words are about as coherent as the President Dan Paz. To which Big Bad Mama says, it's not that bad, Claude. To which Claude says, ah. Yeah, I agree. Trump is easier to follow than Dan. Easily. Way easier to follow than Dan. Don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, the whole point of me doing this Trump without Trump segment was to try and, like, divorce people from the monotony of listening to Trump directly. Right? Because when you listen to Trump directly, it just all kind of falls into one. It all just kind of comes together to a big bunch of rambling nonsense that doesn't really mean anything whatsoever. So I figured if we take his voice out of it, we take his face out of it, and we just look at what he says for what it is, then maybe we could get a better idea. But you know what happened, folks? You know what happened? The evil, horrible Democrats, what they've done, they've removed the ability for me to even listen to it now. I've listened to enough of these Trump without Trump segments, folks. Look, I know Trump without Trump. I have only the best Trump without Trump. You wouldn't believe it. But I know now, folks. I'm starting to get desensitized. It's getting there. I'm starting to get there where the exact same problem is happening again, even though Juliet Jesk here, the person who runs the Decoding Fox News channel, does an objectively better job, makes it way more interesting than the original. Even then, it's so stupid. The ideas that are being expressed are just so asininely dumb that it's looping back around. To which Claude responds, eh. What's up, all? What's up, Achilles? Good to see you here, buddy. Good to see you, Big Bad Mama. Good to see you, Claude, Professor Hizzle, 21st Century Psalmist, Miss Krista. We got Peter. We got Jens Anderson. We got a whole fucking crowd of people out here. It's like a fucking nightclub out here. We're all just hanging out. This is the place to be, ladies and gentlemen. This is the place to be. All right. That's our first segment of the day. Let's get to, Trump. He's starting to have a different side to him. He hacked my show yesterday, by the way. I don't know if you went back. I went and looked at the footage after the fact. The dude literally came onto my fucking live stream and admitted to being a vampire. He literally came on. He was like, I've lived for 1,000 years. And nobody even fucking told me about it. Nobody told me that the President of the United States of America hacked into my show and freaking admitted that he was a vampire in front of everybody. What the hell, guys? I've got people out here telling me about when freaking Lupin Tupin makes a funny in a stream, but I don't got people telling me when the United States president comes on and hacks my fucking stream. What the hell? What's wrong with you people? We're about to take a look at another side of Trump, though. This side of Trump, very rarely seen. Very rarely seen. This is late-breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
Anger among Muslims around the world.
There's plenty of anger right now. How can you have more?
You don't think it'll exacerbate the problem?
David, I mean, I know you're a sophisticated guy. The world is a mess. The world is as angry as it gets. Well, you think this is going to cause a little more anger? The world is an angry place. All of this has happened. We went into Iraq. We shouldn't have gone into Iraq. We shouldn't have gotten out the way we got out. The world is a total mess. The world is a mess, David.
It's going to cause more anger.
way too fucking well. This is how you make Trump cool, by the way. Just letting you know, this is how you make Trump cool, because he has never actually been this high energy in his entire life. Mr. Wildheart, I see you hanging out backstage. How's it going, sir? All I have to say right now, I have the link posted. The reason why is because for whatever reason, I myself can't put the link out there on YouTube. I had to get my freaking moderator to post it for me because YouTube is just being YouTube. You know how it works. You have your own channel. You know what's up. But suffice it to say, right now I'm going to be doing a solo thing, but I am going to allow people to come into the room as soon as the solo segment is over. So if you want to hang out backstage, you're more than welcome to chill backstage if you want. But I just want to let you know that's the reason why I'm not letting people up right now, just so you don't think that I'm just ignoring you or something like that. Anyways, it's a mess, folks. The world is a mess. The world is as angry as it gets. You think this is going to cause a little more anger? The world is David, the world is an angry place. No problem, just enjoying, carry on. No problem at all, Wildheart. Glad to hear that you're enjoying the stream, buddy. Glad to hear. All right, moving on. People have been asking me, Aiden, you going to cover the State of the Union? Trump did the State of the Union recently. I'm sure you're going to make a bunch of content fodder out of that. Well, I figured that we'd cover the State of the Union, but we'd cover the State of the Union without any lies. Because I try to cover Trump in a refreshing kind of way. You know? It's not fair that people only cover Trump in one particular way. People are always like, oh, we're only going to cover Trump in a way that's like, orange man bad, orange man bad. I want to show both sides of Trump. And there was several moments where Trump did not lie during the State of the Union. Let's take a look, folks.
My fellow Americans. And God bless America.
God bless America, indeed, Mr. President. God bless America, indeed. You know, the United States, people think that this guy's a giant liar. People think that this guy only tells lies. But think about it, right? That had to be at least like a dozen times that he didn't lie during that State of the Union. So we got to cover both sides of Trump here, okay? I always try to be fair about it on the Aiden Linden live stream. That being said, let's take a look at this. This is to try and expose Trump as the vampire that he is, by the way. People, there's going to be deniers out there. They're going to be like, he's not a vampire. Look, I'm calling in. It's definitely not Trump on the phone. It's John Barron. John Barron is on the phone right now, folks. And John Barron has to say this is not clear evidence that Donald Genius Trump, pardon me, is a vampire. It's fake news. But look at him. If the rest of his skin tone matched the skin tone around his eyes, this is what he would be like. He's a fucking vampire, people. He's out there and he's drinking people's blood. He's siphoning the lifeblood of America, and people just don't care. People don't care. It doesn't matter. I tune in for Trump without Trump and stay because Aiden is freaking entertaining. Hey, I appreciate it, Krista. If I can make people's days just a little bit better, then I am more than happy to be a fount unto the people. More than happy, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty, let's take a look. This is what you're here for, ladies and gentlemen. At least certain elements. Certain agitators that are out there right now in the crowd, they know who they are. They won't say anything because they're cowardly, horrible Democrats. But let's take a look at some of this content that's been made about me recently. Coming from one Jamie Russell, CME. see what this fine gentleman has to say about what I said, what on my previous live stream.
Okay, so I don't actually think Aiden is like dumb.
Well, thank you.
I mean, in the literal sense.
That's nice. That's very charitable.
But I jumped into his live stream, which I don't watch that often. I don't. Oh,
Dude, you're here like half the time. At least half the time. Half of all of my fucking live streams, you can go back in the chat and you'll find either him, his wife, or both of them. And you know what the funny thing is? His wife will actually reply in the chat. This dude's wife has more balls than he does. And this guy likes to claim himself to be such a man. Oh, man. You can't even make this shit up. Because anytime he tries to make a little sniping remark in the side chat, he never follows it up. He can never substantiate it. He can never clarify. Because I don't think that's necessarily what Mr. Russell CME is interested in doing. But let's get to the actual heart of what this man has to say. This man.
I just don't. But I was so shocked that he was administration wants to try to deport people, not just illegals, but he was claiming that they're going to want to try to.
Is that really something that's difficult to articulate? Oh man, that's a 2-syllable word. Shit, got myself caught up on that one. Dude, you're just stumbling and bumbling and mumbling all over the place. You know what you do, Jamie, all right? I know I'm a new kid on the block, and I know it's a little arrogant of me to come in and try to make commentary on what you ought to do as a content creator, right? But you being a very arrogant person who views yourself as better than everybody around you, I think that speaking to you in an arrogant fashion might be speaking in your language. Right? It might be getting on your wavelength in a way that you might be able to understand. Hey, idiot. Take 30 seconds before you make this short and gather your thoughts together, right? Gather them together. Because here I am right now, extemporaneously speaking to you. I didn't even need 30 seconds. And you hear me going, maybe it can't be helped. You know what? I just realized that might not be the most helpful advice. Because if this guy just can't get through a sentence coherently as it is under the best of conditions, then no amount of prep work ahead of time is going to somehow make it better. So I don't know. Take it or leave it, Jamie. Jamie, Aiden is wrong, but Juan Wyatt is 100% right. Yeah, I mean, him being a numpty as far as Ron Wyatt is concerned is already plenty entertaining, don't get me wrong. And that would be some pretty low-hanging fruit to go after, right? The fact that this guy likes to act like he's so skeptical. Skeptical? He's so skeptical. He's so amicable. This guy, he thinks he's so skeptical. And yet, at the same time, he's not skeptical when it comes to Ramanabedit. It's starting to spread. He's leeching in, ladies and gentlemen. The Jamie energy is starting to come into the stream like a cloud of miasma. It's like a mustard gas attack during the First World War. All right, let's listen. Enough clowning on this clown.
Deport people that are.
Let's go back a little bit for the sake of. Let's go back for the sake of context.
That the Trump administration wants to try to deport people, not just illegals, but he was claiming that they're going to want to try to deport people that aren't even illegal immigrants. Apparently, so citizens, legal citizens. It's one thing to say they're deporting illegal immigrants, because they really go after the illegal immigrants who are doing criminal activity. And then, if there's people with them that are illegal, they might get sent away too. But they're really trying to target people who are doing criminals because there's so many to choose from. But when
people who are doing criminals? Get off that criminal's cock! You get out of here! Like I said, bro, Just take a second, all right? Get your thoughts together. It really does help, I promise you. I swear that's not just me trying to fuck on you or something like that. Like, it might actually make you look a little bit like a passing intellectual.
Trying to target people who are doing criminals because there's so many to choose from. But when he claimed that they really, like, I guess because they're racist or something is the implication there, that is just, like, that's nutty. That's like crazy talk. So I was really shocked. So I said kook and he got all mad. And that's fine. Thinks I'm a dumbass.
Oh, you said kook. I thought you said cook. I thought you said cook. I thought you were saying that, like, the DHS is cooking with that po. You know what the funny thing is? Is that I literally laid out the case right in front of this numbskull live on air, right in front of him. And yet clearly he wasn't listening, right? Clearly none of it actually registered. It kind of got trapped. It got trapped somewhere in the freaking labyrinthine maze that is any kind of coherent thought trying to get through this guy's thick fucking skull, right? But here this guy is, after I already explained to him exactly why I made that claim. But for the sake of trying to re-explain it, because clearly it didn't work the first time, second time's a charm, right, Jamie? So here's the post from the Department of Homeland Security that I was referencing on the stream. America after 100 million deportations. Wasn't that so nice? Isn't that such a nice, scenic environment laid out before us? I'm not really focused on the environment, though. I'm focused on the number. Because that didn't just come out of nowhere. 100 million. That's a lot of people, isn't it? And, you know, without even having done any particular research on it in the moment, I already extemporaneously laid out the case that there were more non-citizens. Or sorry, less non-citizens in the United States than 100 million by a significant margin. Because I didn't have the numbers pulled right in that moment, right? But now that you want to make this post like a dumb fuck, I figured I would pull the numbers. So let's take a look. I got them from 3 different sources, just in case you try to claim that I'm trying to be particular about my source citation. Let's take a look at this first one. So, profile of the unauthorized population in the United States. Unauthorized population? So it's 100%, but what's that number there? 13,738,000? Wait a second. Let's pull up the old calculator there for a second. Let's plug some numbers in. Okay. Because I just want to make sure, you know. I've been cited as stupid here. So I just want to show the numbers for everybody just to make it abundantly clear that I'm not pulling up some liberal math or something like that. So let's take a look. So you take, because clearly this number has to be larger, right? This number right here has to be larger than 100 million, right? So let's just take 13,738,000. Then subtract 1,000,000. Oh wait, ha! That's 10 million. Silly bee. All right. So what do we got here? Let's just double check. We got 13,738. 38,000 minus 100,000,000. There we go. That's the right number. That is 100 million. I had the wrong number of zeros in there. Wait a minute. No. Negative 86,262,000? No. That's wrong. No, clearly I got that one wrong, right? Clearly I got that. Wait a minute. There must be a slight disparity here. Oh, wait. It's almost like The numbers are completely fucking different, you goddamn idiot. So let's take a look again, right? So there's no ambiguity. 100 million, right? 100 million deportations. And then we're going to take a look at the next source that I pulled after that. Because I have multiples here. Okay. So this isn't even illegal migrants. This is just immigrants, period. This is everybody that's in the United States that emigrated from a foreign country, legally or otherwise. Let's take a look at what that number is. After more than 50 years of rapid growth, the nation's immigrant population is now in decline. In January 2025, 53.3 million immigrants lived in the United States, the largest number ever recorded. In the ensuing months, however, more immigrants left the country or were deported than arrived. By June, the country's foreign-born population had shrunk by more than 1 million people, marking its first decline since the 1960s. A new Pew Research Center analysis of Census Bureau data finds that as of June 2025, 51.9 million immigrants lived in the U.S. 15.4% of all U.S. residents were immigrants, down from a record historic high of 15.8%. 19% of the U.S. labor force were immigrants, down from 20%, and by over 750,000 workers since January. Starting in mid-2024, several policy changes have affected the U.S. immigrant population. In June 2024, President Joe Biden... No, Joe Biden didn't announce new restrictions on asylum applications. I thought Joe Biden was the guy that's letting everybody in. I thought, wait, no, that can't be true. But Biden implemented? Oh, wait, they also know that Biden implemented loads of restrictions because these dumbasses are the same people that will say on one hand, what the hell? You gotta let like deportation such a problem, but Biden deported those people too. What about Obama deporting all those people? And then the next moment we'll turn around and go, look at all these horrible leftists letting all these people into the country. They're just letting them pour in droves. Meanwhile, the actual truth of the matter is that it's pretty much become bipartisan across most of the mainstream left and mainstream right in the United States. It's pretty fucking bipartisan, but they want to pretend like it's a one-sided thing. So let's see. In June 2024, President Joe Biden announced new restrictions on asylum applications, leading to a sharp decline in border encounters. Weird, because I thought that Trump was the one that was taking credit for all the decline in border encounters. I thought that was Trump saying that was him that did that. But I'm kind of getting a little distracted. I'm getting a little sidetracked. Let's focus on this number, right? 53.3 million immigrants in the United States. Like I said, immigrants being just everybody that came from a different country. So let's go back to the old calculator and mistype a number in and completely invalidate my argument by citing the wrong thing. Like a dumbass. Never claimed that I wasn't a dumbass, by the way. Jamie was way too charitable there by saying that he doesn't think I'm dumb in the general sense. Oh, no, sir. No. I am. Very much so. So, 53.3. So let's go 533 and then 00000. That's going to be, yep, that's 53.3. And then you subtract that by 100 million. Damn. Yet again, we've arrived to a negative number. Negative 46,700,000. But those are all the immigrants, including immigrants that are citizens, by the way. Those are all the immigrants, period, that reside within the United States. So let's take a look. Once again, let's take a look at a third source, because like I said, I like to be thorough with this kind of stuff, right? Let's have a look. This is the least reliable one, which is why I saved it for last. Good old Google AI overview. But it's also not the one that is most damning to Jamie's point, so I really don't think that it's too much of a problem. As of early 2025, there are approximately 51.9 to 53.3 million foreign-born residents in the United States, with about half, roughly 25 to 26 million, being non-citizens. Okay, which is the specific thing that Jamie was talking about there, right? Hold on, let's go back to the short just to make sure, right? I don't want to misquote or anything like that. So let's go back and let's double check what Jamie was trying to focus on in that short so that I don't misquote.
Because there's so many to choose from. But when like, it's one thing to say they're deporting illegal immigrants, because like they really go after the illegal immigrants.
Further back.
People, not just illegals, but like he was claiming that they're going to want to try to deport people that aren't even illegal immigrants. Like apparently, so citizens, legal citizens.
Okay, so it is in fact citizens that he's focusing on in this short. Okay, so now that we've got the number for citizens, just to bring that back one more time, the number was, it was 25 to 26 million. Let's go back to that calculator. Let's go back to that good old calculator. Let's go 26 million minus 100 million. 74 million people that are citizens? Huh. So you mean to tell me, Jamie, that even though those numbers indicate that not only would it be a whole bunch of citizens that would be deported, it would be the majority of people deported if it was 100 million people. It would be almost 3/4 of everybody fucking deported would therefore have to be citizens. You absolute fucking ignoramus. These people, dude, they really are just reactionaries. That's all they've got in their repertoire. That's all they've got in their belt is just reactionary bullshit. So, I'll tell you what, Jamie, you're here in the side chat right now. I'll exclusively let you come on, buddy. The link is pinned at the very top of the show. All right? If you think that this is so dumb, if you think this is so stupid, you can come right on in onto the panel and we can talk about it right here and right now, but I don't think you're going to do that. I have a bit of a suspicion. I might even call it a prophecy. You might even say that he's not going to come on. So yeah, let's take a look at another very, very erudite, scholarly YouTube channel. Only the finest folk decide to take up arms against Aiden Linden as opponents. Only people that are the most intellectually prepared dare to come against me. So let's take a look at yet another challenger to the throne. We've got a post from a guy who, up until I saw the live stream he was doing where he was blasting really shitty hair metal from like the early 2000s, I had no idea who it was prior to that. But this guy posted, "Lol, Jamie calling out the liberal brain rot of slow boy Aiden Linden. The guy who thinks all the Bible bends to his inept interpretations, apparently is a conspiracy theorist too. Don't be an Aiden, folks. You could be better. And you know what the funniest thing is? Is that the premise of this post, right? The whole premise of it being up in the first place was with the attempt to try and discuss ideas, right? That was nominally the point of this post. So here I come, trying to discuss those very ideas right here. And you know what? Let's do newest so that we see all of the comments. Let's check this. So, what I say here, oh, hey, you actually allow comments on your post. Neat. Because Mr. Jamie Coward CME had me restricted from commenting on his short when he initially posted it. That's what real men do, right? They make posts against people, and then they're too cowardly to even be able to actually open up the comments to any kind of criticism. Has Lupin been deported yet? Give it time. Give it time, Claude. It's only a matter of time until that happens. But here I am saying basically a summarization of the entire point that I just made there. I'll say the same thing to you that I did to him. If there are 26 million non-citizens in the United States, and the post from DHS references 100 million deportations, what would that make the remaining 74 million people? To which Smokey's wife comes in and replies, "Are you like anti-deportations, Aiden?" Because every single time I tried to bring up this question to this group of weirdos, they couldn't answer the question to save their fucking lives because the cognitive dissonance that these people have to have in order to keep themselves availed in their own primitive analogs of minds that they're somehow vindicated and correct about this. This is literally the only way they're able to conduct discourse. And here's this other guy who I've literally never met before in my entire life, James Frazier, says, "Is this the little Amy who teaches the fourth commandment while forgetting the ninth? So is the lying, slandering hypocrite." So, wait, you asked a question and then immediately assumed that was the I have no idea who you are, dude. I have no clue. I've never met you before in my entire life. So I replied with, "Go outside." Because what am I supposed to do? Seriously address that? So go outside. To which he replies, "Look in the dictionary under the word stooped." I think he was trying to say stupid. He spelled stupid the same way that, oh wait, none of my siblings are young enough to spell stupid that way. They've all gotten out of being toddlers at this point. So yeah, I can't even make that comparison. My freaking little sisters would be running laps around your dumb ass, bro. You'll see your picture and you can autograph it. Like, let's think about that as an insult, right? Just logistically. I like doing that. That's a lot of fun to me because these people will say these things and they'll think they're really clever. But let's just think about that. Why would I autograph my own photo in the dictionary when the point of an autograph is to give to someone else? Like, just the logistics of your insult don't even make sense, dude. So I just replied with, "I believe you meant stupid, sir." And then he replied, he ended up deleting his own comment because apparently even his primitive ass realized that what he replied with was a whole string of gobbledygook that didn't actually mean anything whatsoever. So he replied with a bunch of gobbledygook, and I said, "Sir, are you having a stroke?" To which he replied with, "Thanks for acknowledging me with mannerism with your ignorant question. If you're at a loss for words, just say thank you, Jesus, instead of being ungrateful, id one ought." It really is like being at the zoo, and it's the ethical version of poking a bunch of gorillas at the zoo with a stick, right? Because the real life version of that would be cruel. Those gorillas, they're just minding their own business. But these gorillas, they want to come up in your face and try to sling a bunch of shit, but inevitably the wind of truth just directs that shit right back into their own face. Every single time, without exception. So I just replied with, so you don't have a counter argument, got you. Self-obsessed, ignorant, and rude. What a winning combination you've got there. I don't think he had any kind of reply to that. So, I put over here, I'll give you credit, unlike Jamie, you aren't cowardly enough to restrict comments. Let's see if you're man enough to actually reply to my other comment. To which this guy says the brain-dead ignoramus. You're also a twofold hypocrite. Oh, he edited his comment. He edited his comment. That is so hilarious because this originally said that I had blocked him on his channel or on my channel when I didn't even know who the hell he was. Look at this. I didn't even know about this. I'm finding out in real time that this guy dishonestly went back and edited his own comments. What a fucking shitheel, dude. And you know what the funny thing is that this dumb fuck, whoever the hell he is, wakes up every single morning and somehow convinces himself that he's in the right. This guy calling me an ignoramus that's so dishonest that he can't even fucking keep the original content of his comment up. And he deleted his comment in between these two. I don't even remember what the hell it was. It was some attempt at an insult. But he just straight up deleted that one, probably because he also recognized that was a bunch of incoherent nonsense. And I said, not only are you making stuff up, but you like your own comments? Double pathetic. And it's true. It's true. Because what the hell are you doing? Nobody else is here, dude. Nobody else is in this thread. It's literally just us. It's just us. That's it. It's just me and you. So you liking your own comments is literally the equivalent of you just patting yourself on the back and going, uh-huh, you sure are right, me. Hey, Aiden, best check out Missing Mod. She has a new video. Who cares? Who cares? She has a new video. Big fucking whoop. I'm covering this right now because this is way more entertaining than whatever the hell that video is. Anyways, let's keep going. I said, literally, who are you? And he linked himself to his channel, which is like, wow, that's a great description. I don't know if you know this, buddy, but your channel, right, already has a hyperlink embedded into it. So if I wanted to click your dumb fuck channel to find out who you actually were, I could do that. I was asking, who are you? Because you're somebody I've never seen before in my entire life. And you're coming at me like you know me and citing some dumb fuck beef that I don't even know exists. Because this is, by the way, well, you know, I'll save that little chestnut for the end. I'll save that little chestnut for the end. I best not get ahead of myself. Let's keep going with this. I'll ask you the same question. And I said the same thing. If DHS has posted about 100 million deportations, 27 million Americans are non-citizens, what would that make the remaining 73 to 74 million people? And I said, do, 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 do. And then he hit the buzzer. And he says, if is a big word. You don't even have enough common sense to know how to even present a question. It's like, okay. How the hell is that a response to the actual heart of what I'm saying? It's just a dodge, which is what I point out. Way to dodge the question, coward. And then said, none of you want to engage on ideas. You just want to mudsling. What a shock. To which he says, coward, you don't even go into the room on the live stream and run your pie hole. They always have a link pin. And it's like, who are you talking about? Who are you talking? This guy? This dude? I didn't even know who the fuck this dude was until I checked his live stream. And I'll reveal who he is in just a moment for those that don't know who he is, because I literally had no clue up until the end. And I said, I responded with, still waiting on an answer to the question, coward. To which he said, you don't start off asking a question with the word if. Eat one out. What's with the id one ut thing? At first I thought it was just him being incapable of spelling. But it seems like something that he really likes to do. It's like, do you pride yourself on not being able to fucking spell a goddamn 5-letter word? Is that what it is? Because it's not YouTube censorship, I'll tell you that much. YouTube's gotten bad with that censorship, but it's not gotten that bad. It's not gotten that bad. Everybody out there in the chat, shoot me a comment up in the chat if you're still able to. Shoot me a comment up in the chat, because YouTube has been a little bit glitchy right now. It's been a little bit glitchy. Sometimes people are able to comment, sometimes people aren't able to comment. So if you are able to shoot me a comment, especially you, Jamie Russell, shoot me that shit. By the way, Jamie, what are you doing here? What are you doing here at all? I thought you said you only watch my live streams occasionally, every once in a while. Surely it can't be the case that yet again, for the umpteenth time, we've got yet another person in this community that says one thing and does another and just expects to get away with it totally unabated. I'm going to test this. Test. I'm going to see, did that post? It did post. All right. All righty. Seems like the comments are still working all right. Glad to see. Just wanted to do a quick test of that. Thank you very much for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. So, going through the comments here on this particular video, said oh wait, I didn't read this guy's dumb fuck reply first. He said, you're starting off a conditional hypothetical. Make a factual statement, then come back with a question about how to go about that, genius. And I just replied with, not conditional. DHS put it up on their social media. Look it up, coward. This is what happens when you focus on semantics instead of actually doing the slightest bit of research, folks. And this guy who had been on my ass with the replies, like within 5 seconds of me posting a reply, this guy would be throwing up something in return. I waited an hour and it was crickets from this guy. So I tagged him again because I wanted to see if I could get a bit more entertainment out of the ape in the zoo. So I poked him again and I said, oh, looks like you got shit canned big time, huh? Dude stopped licking the boot just long enough to put his own foot in his mouth instead. To which point he says, Smokey has a live stream set up in the room, mouthpiece. I'll talk to you about it. And I was like, oh, that's who this is. It all makes sense now. It's all coming together, folks. It's all coming together. It's Smokey posting about me. And I just wanted to highlight at the very end there, I wanted to highlight a little segment from Smokey's wife, who says, I should like this because I agree with the sentiment of this post. She says, I'm beginning to grow absolutely exhausted of this gay shit. People need to go the fuck outside and touch some grass. I'm over this shit. And I said, here, here. But you know why you feel that way, Miss Smokey Saint? You feel that way because you're literally inhabiting a drama factory of a channel. You're literally living on a drama factory and an outrage factory of a channel where every single person on there, as demonstrated by that conversation, rather than taking a single moment to actually consider what's being said, just react to what's being said to them. You know? Yeah, I don't blame you for being exhausted in the slightest. I would be exhausted too if that was all that I got up to. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, I wanted to review one more quick thing, and that was on the Jamie Russell channel, because I wasn't able to initially make my case over on the Jamie Russell channel, as I expressed earlier, given the fact that Mr. Russell is a coward He restricts his comment sections on posts that he makes about other people because he'd rather talk about other people than talk to them. You know, much like a middle school girl. But anyways, I went to one of his other shorts and commented on it. And I had a good fucking belly laugh from that short that I commented on. Because it just goes to show Jamie's mentality so beautifully. Let's take a look. So go over to shorts. Here it is. Here's the first one anyway. Somebody's setting off something freaking on fire in front of his building. This is the one that I actually on. Here it is. Here it is. So I commented on his post. Why is there 3 comments? Did I post twice? Oh, I must have accidentally posted this on here twice. Ah, that's why. I was like, there's no comments on there. What's up? It's because I meant to post on the previous one of the guy setting a bag on fire in front of his building. But Jamie didn't reply. I'm sure he got the notification on his channel that I said something to him, but he didn't reply. Because like I said, he's more interested in talking about people than talking to people. But I just wanted to kind of point and laugh at this short here for just a brief moment.
It's right under my apartment, too. How nice. My handicapped wife on the
Your handicapped wife. Wow, that's a really nice, endearing way of putting that, Jamie. No, you're not handicapped, are you, though, bitch? But what's the caption of this short? Luckily, I found a policeman to put it out. Bitch, this is right below your apartment. This is right below your apartment. Look, if this was just on some random street, right, and you found this and you recorded it and you made a little bit of content out of it, that'd be one thing. But if it's right below your apartment, you don't go, oh, I better look around for Mr. Policeman to go solve my problems for me. Just go to your fucking apartment, run some water in a pot, and go dump the fucking pot of water on top of the fire, dude. Problem solved. Then at least for once in your life, you could claim that you solved a problem yourself rather than relying on other people to solve your problems for you. Who's this Sammy's Muddy Shoe anyway? Let me check this person. You know what? I'm smelling me a sock account. Let me go and take a quick look into this here YouTube channel. Because I've been around just long enough at this point that I think I've gotten pretty decent at sniffing them out. Let's see. Go to channel. Yeah. Joined August 10th, 2024. No activity. No nothing. And you know, I think I know who that is too. I think I know who that is. Because a lot of these sock accounts have been putting up things in my side chat recently, and they've all been made around the same time. And I know of a certain individual, who made a whole bunch of sock accounts right around the same time as each other. They know who they are. They know who they are. They know exactly what I'm referencing. And if that is in fact who I think it is, goodness gracious, are you ever desperate to try and stir up drama about that? I don't know how many times I have to tell you fine folk out here in the side chat. You want mod drama, this is not the place. You want mod drama, go to Lupin's channel. You want mod drama, go to freaking Mod's channel. You want it? This is not the place. Sorry to say. Anyways, let's move on to our next little blurb here. We've got Laura Loomer saying the GOP is losing in 2026 and 2028. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Name names, Aiden. No, they know who they are. No need to name names, Spooky. They know who they are. They know what they're trying to get up to. And naming names would do nothing but perpetuate that drama. And, you know, contrary to people's beliefs, I'm really more about ideas on this particular YouTube channel. Now, if you're going to come at me crooked with some dumb fuck take, yeah, I'm going to take the time to point at you and laugh and call you a dumb fuck, right? Like, that's going to happen. That's just consequences for your actions as far as I'm concerned. But at the same time, I'm not going to go out of my way to just dog on people. I want to focus on ideas around here. And it seems like the idea amongst the right is that even people amongst their ranks are starting to realize, oh shit, things are not looking good for us this year. Things are not looking good. You guys are going to get butt fucked in the midterms. It's going to happen. And you can add this to the clip compilation if it doesn't happen. If it doesn't happen, if the red wave somehow happens, in spite of everything that's been going on here, then you guys can point and laugh at me. And you know what? At least at that point, if you are pointing and laughing at me about that, at least it's because it's an ideas-based thing. It's kind of refreshing at that point, isn't it? That it's actually based on ideas rather than just trying to mudsling for mudslinging's sake. It's not me, I swear. That is a fantastic screen name. That is a fantastic screen name, sir. Or ma'am. Whoever you might be out there. I'm not going to assume your gender. Whew. I love this community. I really do. It's a good place. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to be when everybody knows your name. Bow, 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 bow. And they're always glad you came. Bow, bow, bow. That's what this place is like. Ever since Steven's been putting the Cheers theme in his stuff, I've been like, holy shit. That's why I keep going into this community, because it literally is the Cheers theme. You want to be where everybody knows your name. And you know what? It's not out of an ego thing. It's not out of a... Because you think about it, right? People at Cheers, they didn't go to the bar to go, hey, everybody, look at me, pay attention to me. They just wanted to be around friends. It's about camaraderie. That's what it's all about. Freddy. There's a name, Spooky Bed Hair. There you go. It's all Freddy. It's Freddy's fault. Hashtag blame Freddy. I'm putting it out there right now. I'm saying hashtag blame Freddy. And I'm starting a poll. I'm starting a poll right here, right now. Everybody get up there. Start voting. Start making your voice known in the poll. I want democracy to come about, to manifest in real time. All right. So I want to talk about this particular post. Now, this one, this is from a guy named Cory Booker. He does a really, really good job of political analysis on YouTube. I'm going to try and kind of like segment it a little bit so that I don't just get freaking struck down for commenting on his stuff. But that's true. That's true. But anyways, let's take a look at this.
With the news that Trump's disastrous tax bill has passed both the House and the Senate with 0 Democratic votes, I thought it was time to take a look at the last 2 times in history that a tax plan has been passed with 0 votes from the opposition party.
Which by the way, I've totally forgotten that this was something that even had precedent in American politics. Like... This is honestly something that I had completely forgotten about, honestly. But yeah, this does in fact have multiple precedents in American history.
And of course, I'm talking about Trump's first tax cut, the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, as well as the 1993 Deficit Reduction Act, which was championed by Bill Clinton. But in part 1 here, we're going to look at Trump's tax cut and see whether the promises were kept by Trump or whether the opposition party was right to vote against it. And as a reminder, this is what the Republicans looked like almost 8 years ago after the passage of that law, and Trump wasn't shy about what he thought that law would bring to the American people.
See, you're going to see what happens. And ultimately, what does it mean? It means jobs, 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 jobs.
So Trump was promising jobs, 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 which makes sense because
It's the most beautiful thing ever, folks. Jobs, jobs, jobs. You think that there's gonna be jobs, and they're gonna pour even more jobs on top of the jobs. It's gonna be a landfill of jobs. From the air to the sea, there's gonna be nothing that you can see except a giant pile of jobs. The big, beautiful pile known as jobs in America.
jobs was in the name of the act.
I'm sorry, I'm literally just trying to cut in between so that I don't get freaking... I don't get this guy coming in and being like, you just whole cloth stole my content. I'm fucking throwing you off the website. Uh-oh. Check Facebook. Let's have a looky-loo. Show him. Alrighty. Duly noted, Mr. Peter. Duly noted.
But did it deliver? Well, let's head over to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and look at the job creation before and after Trump's tax plan went into effect. And as you can see, I've exported that Bureau of Labor Statistics data into this handy Excel chart. And here I've broken down that chart into just 4 years, the 2 years prior to Trump's tax plan taking effect and the 2 years after. Now, if we're to believe Trump, we should see massive jobs, jobs, jobs in these years over the 2 years with the previous tax rates.
And that's exactly what we're gonna see. We're gonna see a tsunami of jobs just cascading into the country. There's gonna be every single person is gonna have 8 jobs because that's how we're gonna be able to stem the tide of endless jobs.
But if we look over here, we can see that there's actually 174,000 less jobs created in the 2 years after the tax plan than there were under the previous tax rates. And this is backed up by articles like this 2 years after its passage that says, did Trump's tax cuts boost hiring? Most companies say no. But what did companies spend that extra savings on? Well, like this article.
Well, let's see. I'm sure that even though the thing on screen contradicts what I'm about to say right now, I'm sure that they took that money, and much like how Republicans always try to act, it trickled down. The beautiful trickle down. It all trickled on down. Right on below to the people at the bottom. Because that's what always happens, right? Trickle down economics. Let's see.
The article says just 1 year after its passing, corporations set records for stock buybacks, which only made stockholders richer and did nothing for the American worker.
Oh, they spent it on themselves. They spent it on themselves, and they spent it on consolidating a bunch of shit in their companies. Not only did they make themselves richer, they used this to take over any sort of public oversight, or at least lessen the degree of public oversight over those corporations. Because what is a stock buyback? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's when a corporation spends a bunch of its own money to buy a bunch of its stock back. And what does that result in? It results in that corporation having more of a share of the total amount, and therefore not needing to rely on the shareholders nearly as much. All they need to care about at that point is their own interests. All they need to care about. Well, at least more so than before. So it's multifaceted.
And as you can see here, after years of yearly deficits coming down under the previous tax plan, Trump instituted his tax cuts and saw deficits explode. And of course, with those tax rates in place in 2020 during COVID, we more than doubled the previous record for a deficit at $3.1 trillion. So in closing, not only did the 2017 tax cuts not deliver jobs for average Americans, it exploded the national debt by giving away trillions to billionaires and corporations. In part 2, though, come back and see how Bill Clinton decided to raise taxes in.
And I think I'll probably cover that one at some point as well, because I do think that that one is interesting as well. Because the Deficit Reduction Act, let me just give you a little bit of a spoiler for whether or not the Deficit Reduction Act worked. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Because it wasn't long before I was born that America was celebrating the fact that it got out of national debt. That's something a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people in this audience are old enough to remember a day and age where America didn't have any national debt whatsoever. No national debt, nothing of the sort whatsoever. So this is not something that was all that old. And yet here we are with trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars in national debt because America has been inappropriately spending out the ass for basically my entire lifetime. Anyways, let's move on to the next one here. This election fraud stuff has started to kind of come back a little bit. Donald Trump has been kind of saying, you're making it hard to pay attention out here in the side chat. You're making it hard. You're not making it easy, folks. The disruption is occurring in real time. Oh my gosh. Hey, Sophia. I haven't seen you around in a hot minute. How's it going? Hope you're doing well today. Clinton allowed for loans to be made by banks. Then in 2008, Obama gave the bailouts. It's in debt due to corruption. It's abhorrent. I would agree with you, actually, Sophia, that no, you're good. You're good. You don't have to chill out. I appreciate your presence here in the side chat. You're cool. But to reply to Sophia, I would say that I agree that the bailouts that were given in 2008 were horrible. But let's not pretend like Obama was the only one giving bailouts and that Obama was the only one being super friendly to real estate investors, even if they were issuing extremely predatory loans and enacting illegal policies. Like I talked about this, I'm sure you weren't necessarily there when I covered it, Sophia, but look up the attempted pardoning of Isaac Towsey by George W. Bush. I covered that on one of my shows under Worst White-Collar Presidential Pardons was the segment. And you can either look at the show and look it up yourself or do both. I'd encourage you to do both. What was the name? What was the name of that stream that I covered that in? I'm pretty sure that was 40 watt range. Pretty sure that one was 40 watt range was the one that I covered that. Or no, it was I'm Streamicus. That was the one. It was I'm Streamicus was the one that I covered it in. Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. But I would definitely agree with you that Obama has a lot of blame there. He's definitely not absent of blame at all. But let's not act like it wasn't a bipartisan effort by both the Republicans and the Democrats in the face of the 2008 housing crisis to try and bail these people out and try and bail the banks out. Because it was. It absolutely was. It was decades long of corruption. My entire lifetime, Washington, D.C. has been abhorrent. They're all sickening. I agree they're all sickening. This is why I don't vote. You know, I would say that voting is actually really important in a local context, right? On the national stage, I would agree with you. Your vote means less and less and less as time has gone on. And your vote effectively means nothing whatsoever if you live in a predominantly red state and vote blue or vice versa. If you're a Democrat in Mississippi trying to vote for the president, you may as well take your vote and throw it in the fucking trash because that's about how much that vote is worth. The same is true for a Republican in, say, Oregon or California or something like that. You know, because of the Electoral College and the way that the Electoral College works, which, by the way, is indefensible. I don't know if anybody out there is pro-Electoral College. I would love to have a debate about that at some point, the Electoral College. Because it is an indefensible institution that literally only exists to try and take power away from the average American and put it in the hands of the rich and powerful. So while I would say that voting nationally is definitely next to useless, I would say that voting locally is extremely important because local initiatives, local ballots, those things have way more effect. You have way more ability to influence your local council. You have way more ability to influence your board of directors, whether it's a county situation or a municipal situation. You know, you have way more representation on the local and even the state level. than you do on the national level. And I think that the national level could be reformed. If it really was just simply a strict, each person votes for the president, and the people that vote for the president more than the other people get to choose the president, that would be more ideal to me. And if we have to keep this stupid electoral system, then at least allow the splitting of electoral votes. If a state has 12 electoral votes, right? I don't even know if one of them, I think at least a couple of them have 12. And 2/3 of the population vote for a Republican and 1/3 of the population votes for a Democrat. There are loads of states where that doesn't matter, where all 12 of those votes are still going to go to voting for the Republican. And that's bullshit. The same goes for the Democrats. If there's a bunch of people in California that want to vote for a Republican candidate for the president of the United States, they should be fucking represented. They should have access to the vote, and they should have access not only to be able to vote, but to have their vote mean as much as somebody in another part of the country. But that's the problem, is that America is one of the only countries in the world where who you are and whether or not who you vote for doesn't matter nearly as much as where you vote for that person. It's absolutely obscene. America is not the largest country in the world. America is not the most populous country in the world. And yet America is the only country in the world that I know of that practices this very specific system that makes it so that the person that you're voting for isn't the president, it's an elector. And yeah, going back really briefly to my point made before, I think they need to reform it so that rather than 2/3 of the population voting for a Republican and 12 votes going to that Republican, I think 8 of those votes should go to the Republican candidate and 4 of those votes should go to the Democrat candidate. Because that is way more representative. If people are so tied to the Electoral College as an institution, and they really have to insist that it has to stick around in some capacity, then let it stick around in a capacity that's at least more representative to the average American. I don't see how that is a position that could even be feasibly argued against, quite frankly. But, by the way, for the 8 people that are watching right now, hope that you're enjoying the stream. If you are enjoying the stream, please drop a like in the stream. It would be much appreciated. Helps the channel grow. Please drop a subscription if you haven't. Also helps the channel grow. We're going to look at Trump's claims about election fraud, except, oh wait. In this instance, it seems like he likes election fraud. Let's take a look.
And remember, we have not only the 250 years, but this is a big one. We have the World Cup and we have the Olympics coming up, all within this 4-year period. See, if they didn't rig the election, I would have been sitting, can you imagine? I wouldn't have any of them. And I probably wouldn't have been invited. I would have been very upset by that. We made this, it was made during my term, my first term. And it was so sad because I said, can you imagine, I'm not going to be president. And that's too bad. And then what happened is they rigged the election and I became president. So that was a good thing. That was a good thing. That was quite an achievement for both of us. So I'll be president during the World Cup and during the Olympics, which we were very... He journeyed to Pennsylvania, where he spent like a month and a half campaigning for me in Pennsylvania. And he's a popular guy, and he was very effective. And he knows those computers better than anybody, all those computers, those vote-counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide, so it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So thank you to Elon.
Yeah, and then you look at the actual post that he makes here. And it's a bit hard to read through the text, so I'll read it for you guys. But he says, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. Ingratitude. So he says on one end, I love Elon. He knows those computers, folks. He knows those computers like nobody else, let me tell you. And then here he is on frickin' X, basically saying, if it weren't for me, then Donald Trump wouldn't even be in the office in the first place. It's very ingracious, if you ask me, really. BRB, man, can you talk? Fell asleep twice, had a meal. No, I've got to go. Sorry about that, Wildar. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to disappoint. Still spreading the 2020 election line, regardless of the 60 court cases against him. Yeah, I know. And nobody on that side of the argument ever wants to cite the 60 court cases either, because in their mind, it really is just the case that, yeah, it was rigged, but, it doesn't even matter anymore because Trump is in office. It's like, no, it doesn't matter to you anymore because there was never any fucking evidence of that. If there was even a single shred of evidence indicating that the fucking election was rigged, you guys would still be harping on it right now. And you know what? Quite frankly, you'd have the right to be harping on it because electoral fraud is bullshit. And yet, which is the organization that's been caught engaging in electoral fraud in Georgia recently? Oh, right. It was fucking Elon Musk's. It was him that decided that he was going to engage in electoral fraud. It's all a fucking joke. It's a bunch of fucking hypocrisy. It's a bunch of hypocrisy, plain and simple. So anyways, let's go on and take a look at our next segment. Epstein abuse survivor attending State of the Union asks, where are the rest of the files? I'm going to play this because I think it's paramount that these people, these victims of this horrible fucking tragedy, be able to speak in their own words about these things.
So I'm an Epstein survivor from 2004, 2005. I was 17 years old when I met Jeffrey Epstein. Back then I was a teenager, but I was really a child. I was looking for an adult to help protect me from what felt like monsters, only to find that the monster was him all along. Now I look to the government for help, and they're no better. Gaslighting and manipulating victims, the same tactics as Jeffrey and Ghislaine. The DOJ assures us that they're focused on our safety, but only to exploit us further. There are two cases happening here, two cases of abuse. The first case is one that we endured while we were ensnared in the largest sex trafficking ring that this country has known to date. And the second is the abuse of our government. They're covering everything up and protecting power, not the young and the vulnerable. As we prepare to attend the State of the Union, survivors and this country have so many questions that need to be answered. The first one is, where are the rest of the files? The truth must come out. Why are there no investigations when there are plenty of people in these files to investigate? Have we read them? Why is the FBI director out there partying like a college kid when he should be investigating the vast criminal enterprise? This administration needs to do better. How can anybody feel safe in this country when our president's sympathies are going to the former Prince Andrew and not to survivors? There are a few things that really need to be done immediately. First is the release of all of the files, which we know. Next is to hold accountable those who continuously exploit. And the third is to pass Virginia's bill. We need to pass Virginia's bill because justice should never, ever expire. Release the damn files.
Bravo. Bravo. Seriously. Big Bad Mama says, 3 million files still haven't been released, and Trump just tried to scrub files that have been released with where his name appeared? Are you serious, Big Bad Mama? I haven't heard about that. I did not have that in the rotation today. If you want to come on and show that, if you want to drop in, the link is up there in the chat. I'll let you drop in. If you have the time, of course. If you're busy doing other stuff and you don't have the ability to come on, that's totally cool. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything like that. But even if you have the link, you're a mod, so you should be able to put it in the chat. And if it doesn't work, because YouTube's been super glitchy about that lately, you could put it in Messenger and I could review it there, because that's definitely something I would want to go over on my show for sure. If he's going back and literally trying to scrub shit with his name on it, I mean, it's incorrigible. I might have the files. Oh, really? I'll tell you what, then you come on. NPR, okay. The horrible, evil NPR. We see here yet again, folks. We see that the NPR trying to spread fake news about me. Holy shit. Okay, this is immediately getting thrown into the rotation. Thank you, Big Bad Mama. Seriously. Yeah, I'm actually going to put that next. Let's take a look. For fuck's sakes, I just had it. Where did it go? It was just here. Here we go. I found it, folks. Dementia Dottie strikes again. All right, let's take a look. So, Justice Department withheld and removed some Epstein files related to Trump. This is updated February 24th, so literally just a couple of days ago. I'm really surprised I hadn't heard about this. Thank you, Big Bad Mama, for being more diligent about the news than me, apparently. I try, too. I really do try to pull a whole bunch of different stuff for this show from a bunch of different sources. So I appreciate it. The Justice Department has withheld some Epstein files related to allegations that President Trump sexually abused a minor, an NPR investigation finds. It also removed some documents from the public database, where accusations against Jeffrey Epstein also mention Trump. Some files have not been made public despite a law mandating their release. These include what appear to be more than 50 pages of FBI interviews, as well as notes from conversations with a woman who accused Trump of sexual abuse decades ago when she was a minor. NPR reviewed multiple sets of unique serial numbers appearing before and after the pages in question, stamped onto documents in the Epstein files database. FBI case records, emails, and discovery document logs in the latest tranche of documents published at the end of January. NPR's investigation found dozens of pages that appear to be cataloged by the Justice Department but not shared publicly. The Justice Department declined to answer NPR's questions on the record about these specific files. What a fucking shock. What's in them, and why they are not published. After publication, the Justice Department reached out to NPR, taking issue with how its responses to questions were framed. Department of Justice spokeswoman Natalie Baldessari reiterated DOJ's stance that any documents not published are privileged and duplicates or relate to an ongoing federal investigation. Following NPR's reporting, the House Oversight Committee's ranking member, Representative Robert Garcia of California, released a statement about the missing files. Yesterday, I reviewed unredacted evidence logs of the Department of Justice. Oversight Democrats can confirm that the DOJ appears to have illegally withheld FBI interviews with this survivor who accused President Trump of heinous crimes, Garcia stated. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee have already been investigating this allegation against the president and will now open a parallel investigation into the DOJ's decision not to release these particular documents. Other files scrubbed from public view pertained to a separate woman who was a key witness for the prosecution in the criminal trial of Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is serving a 20-year prison sentence for sex trafficking. Maxwell is seeking clemency from Trump. Some of those documents were briefly taken down and put back online last week, while others remain hidden, according to NPR's comparison of the initial data set from January 30th with document metadata of those files currently on the Justice Department's website. NPR does not name victims of sexual abuse, as they shouldn't. When asked for comment about the missing pages and the accusations against the president, a White House spokeswoman told NPR that Trump, quote, has done more for Epstein's victims than anyone before him. And I'm not laughing because that's funny. I'm laughing at the sheer fucking absurdity of that statement. The absolute sheer absurdity of that statement. We had freaking Hayden up in this bitch earlier saying, let me go back and find it. My aunt loves Trump, and she's pissed that they haven't put all the files out. That's the take from the average everyday American, right? The average everyday American is sitting here going, Trump, you have fucked this up. You have horribly represented these victims and have completely curtailed their ability to be able to seek justice in any fucking way that is conducive to dignity, in any fucking way that's conducive to any kind of understanding that these people should have justice for the horrible things done to them. None of it whatsoever. And here they are, brazenly trying to say that Trump has done more for Epstein's victims than anyone before him. Get the fuck out of here. You are the people who said on one hand, the files are a hoax. They're a hoax, folks. It's all just a giant hoax. It's a Democrat hoax. You tried to claim that it wasn't even fucking real. And then you tried to claim that anybody that believes that the files are legitimate are idiots. You got forced, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, to even fucking pass the Epstein Files Transparency Act in the first place. And you're sitting here saying you did more for them than anybody else. What a fucking abject failure. What an abject lie. Who the fuck is sitting here defending this guy? Who the fuck is sitting here going, yeah, this is my fucking president right here. Yay and verily, go fuck yourself, as far as I'm concerned. If this is the person that you stand for, if this is the person who you stand behind and you're not just going to look the other way. By the way, that's an important clarification. I'm not saying everybody who has or does support Trump is a piece of shit. That's not what I'm trying to say right now. Let me be abundantly fucking clear and state that the people that are pieces of shit are the people on either side that don't look at this shit for what it is. And I'm not saying that you have to. If you don't want to engage with this stuff at all, you just have your own life, you don't want to be bothered with it, and you just want to go on about your everyday business, that's one thing. Okay? If you just want to live your life to your own accord and not be bothered by politics at all, go right on ahead. But don't get all opinionated about this shit and have strong opinions about it and then retreat back to the fucking solitude of, well, I don't really actually care about any of this. There's so many people that I've seen that have acted that way. And that's not honest. If you don't want to participate at all, if you don't want to have a part in this, and you just want to stand aside and have your own life, fair enough. But if you want to be in this little scene, this political activist scene, this political commentary scene, this little corner of the community, which, by the way, where the fuck was there any fucking leftist representation in this community as far as many of these main channels prior to me coming around? I'm sure that, like, the Kentucky Atheist is a good example. Joe's a pretty good example. Joe puts out some stuff, and he's pretty left in persuasion. I'm not really sure whether or not Tacos is left or right. I really don't go around this community. I don't really care for that community. Not to say that it's bad. I just don't go around it. It's not necessarily my cup of tea. But ever since I started fucking doing leftist political commentary in this community, it's just kicked up a fucking hornet's nest of people that are just losing their goddamn minds over it. So many people out here that just cannot fucking fathom, cannot handle the idea that there are other people in this community that have other fucking points of view besides just right or centrist views. And that's obviously not everybody. I'm not out here going, all of y'all just suck. But you people know who you are that I'm talking about. All you people know who you are that I'm talking about. So yeah, just to finish off that little rant that I just gave and summarize it, if you just want to mind your own business and do your own thing, then fair enough. But if you want to try and engage and interact with the current politics and what's going on right now, then all that I ask, literally all that I ask, is that you do that in good faith. Right? You do it in a way where you listen to what the other person is saying to you. You do it in a way where you don't misrepresent them. That's all I fucking ask. I have no problem lending that exact courtesy to all of my opponents, politically or otherwise. It's not a big deal to me. It's up to all y'all. And with that being said, I'm going to get back into my segment here, and we're going to keep reading. So, when asked for comment about the missing pages and the accusation... Oh, wait, I already read that part. Just as President Trump has said, he's been totally exonerated on anything relating to Epstein, White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson told NPR in a statement. And by releasing thousands of pages of documents, cooperating with the House Oversight Committee's subpoena request, signing the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and calling for more investigations into Epstein's Democrat friends. Yeah. They're all Democrats. All Democrats. Definitely not a unilateral fucking ring. When you actually look into the files and look at who's in those files, something tells me any one of you in the community that's actually taken the time to read through the files, there's a lot of fucking people in there, and a lot of those people are plenty right of center. It's not to say all of them, but the idea that even the narrative from the fucking White House is, oh, they're looking into all of his leftist Democrat friends. Trump, you were a fucking registered Democrat at one point. You used to be a fucking registered Democrat, Trump. And when was it that you were a registered Democrat? Huh. In August 2001, Trump changed his party affiliation to Democratic. Let me just pull this up for everybody that's looking right now, because this is something that everybody just totally fucking forgets about. Everybody just fucking forgets about this little fucking chestnut, but it's true. Okay? In August 2001, Trump changed his party affiliation to Democratic. In September 2009, he changed his party affiliation back to the Republican Party. When was Epstein known as being most active? When you look at the Epstein files? Anybody's welcome to go back, by the way. Anybody's welcome to look at the fucking Epstein timeline. When was it that Epstein was most active? When was it that Epstein was victimizing the most people? Because let me tell you something right fucking now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get out ahead of the narrative that's going to come our way. Right here and right now. I'm a fucking prophet. All right? If Donald Trump gets held to any serious account on this, if the full files come out, and if those files contain information that allows Donald Trump to be criminally prosecuted, do you know what the stance of the Republican Party will be? Because let me tell you what the stance of the Republican Party will be. Donald John Trump engaged in horrible acts against Jeffrey Epstein. We no longer deny that, and we full-throatedly acknowledge those accusations. However, we just want to make it abundantly clear that Donald Trump engaged in those activities in the early 2000s while he was a registered member of the Democratic Party. Therefore, the Republican Party has no onus of responsibility over what's going on right now. That's what they're going to do. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Tell me I'm goddamn wrong. That is exactly how the Republican Party would have to pivot. What other choice would they fucking have? Because with how much they've tied themselves to this one fucking guy, the abject worship that the GOP has for Donald Trump at this point in time, that is literally their only fucking out. So we're talking about, all these people were Democrats. Guess what, Trump? You were a Democrat when this guy was most active, dipshit. I hope more people start talking about that, by the way. I hope more people start pointing that out. Because the idea, there's a shitload of people out there that I've literally heard deny the idea that this guy ever was a Democrat. Both during Trump 1.0 and Trump 2.0. There was loads of people that were like, that guy was never a Democrat. That don't make no sense. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he fucking was. Ugh. Anyways, back to this. More investigations into Epstein's Democrat friends. President Trump has done more for Epstein's victims than anyone before him. Meanwhile, Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries and Stacey Plaskett have yet to explain why they were soliciting money and meetings from Epstein after he was a convicted sex offender. You know who else kept submitting a whole bunch of fucking money and a whole bunch of meetings with Jeffrey Epstein after he was a convicted sex offender? Because let me tell you, neither Trump or Elon dropped that fucking guy after he was first charged. Neither one of them. So this idea that, we need to look into these people because it's really suspicious that they held on to these loans. So did he! It's so fucking ridiculous. Oh, Aiden, why are you getting so upset? Because the truth is so fucking clearly in front of everyone's faces. And yet, there's such a huge segment of the population that just wants to go, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. It's right there. You're more than welcome to take a fucking gander anytime you want, but you just won't. You just won't, because that's just a little bit too hard, isn't it? It's a little bit too self-effacing to have to admit to yourself that maybe, just maybe, you were fucking wrong about something. Maybe, just maybe, for the people that voted for this guy, you missed the mark. He was selling something, and it turns out that what he was selling was completely different to what you actually got. What a fucking shock. The failed steak salesman. The failed fucking airline connoisseur who told his fucking flight attendants when they complained about the thick carpeting he installed in the fucking airplanes to try and give off a fucking appearance of luxury alongside the faux marble and faux gold that he had in them, which is so emblematic of him as a person, by the way. When his flight attendants complained about the carpeting and how they couldn't push the carts, you know what he told them? Push harder. You gotta push harder. The guy that's literally never fucking worked a goddamn day in his life. That was his response. No fucking shit, he sold you a bunch of bullshit. No shit, he sold you up the river and is currently selling your entire goddamn country up the river. If you're not pissed off about that, you got two excuses. You got two. And one of those is that you just don't want to be engaged in politics. I just don't want to engage. I just don't care. I don't care about all this stuff. Then you know what? Keep out of it. Then keep out of it as far as I'm concerned. That's the paradigm that exists. You can't have both ends. The White House has previously pointed to a statement from the Justice Department that says that the Epstein files contain untrue and sensationalist claims about the president. In a February 14th letter to members of Congress, first reported by Politico, Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche insist that no records were withheld or redacted, quote, on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government, official, public figure, or foreign dignitary. We'll see whether or not they stick to that fucking narrative, by the way. I really wouldn't be surprised if they get pressured to the point where they have to release the full stuff. That one of their final fucking desperate attempts to try and get out of it will be, but this will damage the harm of prominent political figures across the United States. Sorry, I just gotta wipe my monitor off. That's what you heard right there. Just opening my freaking cleaning cloth here. You gotta take good care of your monitors, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a question for you. When was the last time you cleaned your monitor? Everybody watching this right now, I bet you You shut off your light, right? Or you know what? You shut off your light, open the curtains right now, get some natural light in there. You take a look at that thing. You're not going to like what you see. You're not going to like what you see. So give it a good clean is my recommendation. Anyways, let's keep going with this here article. By the way, if you're enjoying the stream right now, please like. It would be much appreciated. Helps support the channel. Helps support the ideas being expressed here, getting out to a wider audience, which is what I care about really more than anything else. More people that actually talk about this. Who the hell gives a shit about agreeing? Right? Agreement isn't what this is all about. It's about at least getting people to talk about this shit that matters most to me. First woman accuses Trump of sexual abuse. According to the newly released files, the FBI internally circulated Epstein-related allegations that mentioned Trump in late July and early August 2025. The list, collected from the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, included numerous salacious allegations. Agents marked most of the accusations as unverifiable or not credible. But one lead was sent to the FBI's Washington office with the purpose of setting up an interview with the accuser. The lead was included in an internal PowerPoint slide check detailing prominent names in the Epstein and Maxwell investigations last fall. The woman who directly named Trump in her abuse allegation claimed that around 1983, when she was around 13 years old, Epstein introduced her to Trump, quote, who subsequently forced her head down into his exposed penis, which she subsequently bit. In response, Trump punched her in the head and kicked her out. If this happened, it's absolutely fucking awful. But in the face of one of the richest, most powerful people in the world, if you did in fact bite Trump's dick, fucking based, as far as I'm concerned. Because you can imagine there's a genuine risk at that point that you're just going to get fucking taken out back and shot. At that point, you're just going to get fucking executed in a back room somewhere. But she fucking did it anyway. That takes fucking balls right there. That takes some serious fucking balls. Out of more than 3 million pages of files released by the Justice Department in recent months, this specific allegation against Trump appears only in the copies of the FBI list of claims and the DOJ slideshow. But a review of FBI case file logs and discovery documents turned over to Maxwell and her attorneys in the criminal case against her point to one place the claim could have come from, and how serious investigators took it. The FBI interviewed this Trump and Epstein accuser 4 times. That is according to an FBI serial report and a list of non-testifying witness material in the Maxwell case that were also released under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Only the first interview, conducted July 24th, 2019, is in the public database. That interview does not mention Trump. What a fucking weird coincidence. The only interview that was released to the public was one that didn't mention Trump. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, though. I'm sure there is nothing at all to do with the fact that it didn't mention Trump as to why that got released, right? Of 15 documents listed in a log of the Maxwell discovery material for this first accuser, only 7 are in the Epstein Files database. Those missing also include notes that accompany 3 of the interviews. The discrepancy in the file for the Trump accuser was first reported by independent journalist Robert Sollenberger. According to NPR's review of 3 different sets of serial numbers stamped onto the files, there appear to be 53 pages of interview documents and notes missing from the public Epstein database. And that's only regarding this one thing. That's only regarding this one particular case. Never mind you, the other fucking slightly less than 3 million that are currently out there that we just don't know jack or fucking shit about. But yeah, I wonder why they're fucking covering those things up. It has nothing to do with any sort of, horribly damaging fucking allegations that would destroy and undermine the very basis of the President of the United States, because the President of the United States is a fucking kitty diddler. Surely not. And you know what? The moment that those claims can get dropped and exonerated for all of human history, the moment that Donald Trump gets to be exonerated from that is the moment that those all come out. The moment that every single one gets released, unredacted, that's the moment that all of these Trumpers can point in my face and laugh and call me an idiot for assuming all this stuff, if indeed none of them have anything whatsoever. But something tells me that there's a bit of a reason as to the hesitancy that's at play here. In the first interview document, the woman discussed ways Epstein abused her as a girl, and in identifying him to investigators, showed a cropped photo of the disgraced financier. Her attorney said that it was cropped because she was concerned about implicating additional individuals, and specifically any that were well known, due to fear of retaliation. The FBI agents noted that it was a widely distributed photograph of Epstein with Trump. A woman whose biographical details and description of Epstein's abuse found in the FBI interview also line up with details from a victim lawsuit. And the December 2019 filing Jane Doe 4 does not mention Trump, and the woman voluntarily dismissed her claims against Epstein's estate in December 2021. Attorneys for this accuser declined to comment. Elsewhere in the released Epstein files, someone in the FBI wrote on July 22, 2025, before the list and slide presentation were compiled, that Trump's name was in the larger case files, and that, quote, one identified victim claimed abuse by Trump but ultimately refused to cooperate. Second accuser says she met Trump at Mar-a-Lago. All right, I'm going to read this one other one. I'm pretty sure that there's... Oh, no, that's actually the last thing. And then that's the end of the article. Okay, because I thought that was going to list a whole bunch, and it's not that it's not important to read all of those, but I do have to work at a certain point, and I do have a lot of other segments planned here. So with that in mind, I am going to finish out this article because it's important. But Sophia says 8 and 9 behind in the stream. The left and the right would both make that kind of statement. They're all horrible. Why didn't the Dems release everything when Biden was in power? Okay, so that's actually a very easy thing to explain. The Dems didn't release everything when Biden was in power because the Department of Justice under the Biden administration had not fully prepared those things yet. They hadn't prepared them for release yet. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I have plenty of criticisms of Biden as president, but it's inarguable that Biden did not have his hand up the Department of Justice's rear end anywhere near as much as Trump has his hand up the Department of Justice's rear end. You know, ideally, what's taught in school is that there's a separation between the three major branches of the United States government, right? The executive, the judicial, and the legislative branches, all are supposed to be distinct and separate from each other. The problem is that the judicial and the executive branches have become extremely intertwined from each other, and the checks and balances that they're supposed to enact on each other as a result have suffered and have been undermined in a way that is extremely concerning. So I would actually say that Biden not releasing them while the Democrats were in power wasn't an indictment for the Democrats. It really wasn't, because they weren't trying to overreach their authority over the Department of Justice at that point in time. Nor should they, nor should Trump. The Department of Justice is supposed to be set up as a separate thing. It's all vile. Harming children or harming others in any way is wrong. Absolutely, Sophia. 150%. That needs to be the wider attitude as far as I'm concerned. It needs to be unequivocal, it needs to be unapologetic, and it needs to be disrupted to everything that seeks to undermine that as a narrative. That's exactly what happened earlier on the show. I played a clip on my show yesterday during a major newscast of a woman having to push back against this cavalier attitude that certain people are having about this Epstein shit. Absolutely awful. You can check it out on my next stream, or on my previous stream, rather. I know that you're a little bit behind right now, but when you get to that, just look for the part where I was reviewing news footage And that should have it right there. Anyways, let's look at this. The other woman whose mention of Trump made the DOJ's presentation appears in Maxwell's discovery files released last month in what's known as a testifying witness 3500 material list. In the first interview of 6 with the FBI conducted between September 2019 and September 2021, the second woman detailed how Epstein and Maxwell's abuse began while she was around 13 years old and attending the Interlochen Center for the Arts, and described how at one point Epstein took her to Trump's Mar-a-Lago club to meet him. Epstein told Trump, quote, "This is a good one, huh?" The interview report reads. In a 2020 lawsuit against Epstein's estate and Maxwell, the second woman added that both men chuckled and she felt uncomfortable, but at the time was too young to understand why. That interview was removed from the DOJ's public files sometime after initial publication on January 30th and was republished February 19th, according to document metadata. The Justice Department told NPR the only reason any file had been temporarily removed is that it had been flagged by a victim or their counsel for additional review. Multiple FBI interviews with other people referred to the second woman's meeting with Trump while she was a minor and being abused by Epstein. One interview with a fleeting mention of Trump was removed from the public database and subsequently restored last week, while another interview with the woman's mother is still offline. After publication, the Justice Department said the file required additional redactions and will be reposted soon. In that conversation, the mother recalled hearing that a prince and a Donald Trump visited Epstein's house, which made her think that if they are in these, then how could Epstein be a criminal? If they are there, then how could Epstein be a criminal? Pardon me. According to NPR's copy of the file that was first published. The possible omission of files that mention these women's particular allegations against the president come as the Justice Department has warned about other documents it has published in full that include what it calls untrue and sensationalist claims about Trump, which is important, by the way. It's important that things not be brought to a completely absurdist place, right? We can't just immediately convict this guy of doing all of these horrible things, which is not why I was getting so angry and saying all of those things about him earlier, by the way. The reason why I was saying all of those things is because that is not only where the evidence seems to point, but is a completely legitimate stance to have in absentia of any actual definitive evidence exonerating this man. Of course, people are going to be left thinking the worst in that scenario. People naturally do that. Because why is really the main question that remains. Why is it that half the files just haven't been released at all? Why is it that they're unpublishing and republishing and unpublishing and republishing all this shit, even though their claims that the victims are doing that are directly contradicted by the victims themselves? When asked about this shit, not only do a bunch of these victims say that they haven't even been fucking spoken to by the Department of Justice, but a bunch of these victims will literally fucking say that this shit was never fucking requested to be redacted by them. As far as the reason for why they're getting taken down and put up and taken down and put up. Uh-oh. We've got... It couldn't be. It surely could not be. If you ask the PGs, everyone is me. All right, let's finish this off. By the way, thank you for being here, Aloynia. Welcome to the show. I don't think I've seen you around here before. Maybe I have. If I have, then I apologize for not saying so prior to now. But welcome to the stream, Aloynia. Hope that things are doing well with you. I just wanted to say you're doing a great job, Aiden. Now shut up and do some funny voice. Hey, everybody, it's Ken Hovind here at Dinosaur Adventureland. Dinosaur-loving, chicken-eating, wife-beating. True Baptist Church. There you go. Is that a little dosage? Oprah Winfrey's School for Girls. Oh, that's a whole other ball of wax. Yeah, her fucking quote-unquote School for Girls. Yeah, that was a whole ball of wax as well. How's Maxwell not sentenced to life in prison or worse? Well, you know what, Sophia? Unfortunately, there's a specific reason why Maxwell's allowed to have a puppy in prison right now, and while Maxwell's allowed to have custom meals made for her right now while she's in prison and have all that. It's because she negotiated that with the Trump administration. She negotiated that with his Department of Justice, who's giving her all of these favorable treatments. And right now, she's currently, in spite of the fact that the Department of Justice guidelines mandate that you be in prison for 5 years before applying for commutation for your crimes, applying for it anyway, right now, with no resistance from the Department of Justice whatsoever. The fact that she's even allowed to apply for commutation speaks for itself. Because the Department of Justice, if it was properly enacting its policies, wouldn't even give her the fucking application right now. They'd say, no, you haven't met your minimum sentencing time. You've got to be in for 5 years, and then you can apply for your commutation. But she's doing it anyway. She's doing it anyway. And that's something that barely anybody's even talking about right now. Hayden Monton is just the trash that BBM dragged in. More like School for Hurls, am I right? What? Ooh. Anyways. All right. I think I've gotten through that paragraph. So Robert Glassman, who represents the woman who testified against Maxwell, sharply criticized the Justice Department's handling of the Epstein files. This whole thing is ridiculous, he told NPR. The DOJ was ordered to release information to the public to be transparent about Epstein and Maxwell's criminal enterprise network. Instead, they released the names of courageous victims who have fought hard for decades to remain anonymous and out of the limelight. Whether the disclosures were inadvertent or not, they had one job to do here, and they didn't do it, which is also very true. The fact that so many of the victims, which, by the way, wasn't that the initial fucking justification for why those fucking abusers were redacted? The whole justification for why those abusers were redacted on those files was, oh, well, they're redacted because we try to protect everyone in these sorts of cases. We try to protect everybody. We try to have a multilateral understanding about those sorts of things. And yet they literally fucking released the unredacted names of loads of these fucking victims. So that excuse just totally falls apart by the wayside. I didn't even realize you had a channel till very recently. Been fun watching the next day usually. That's awesome, Aloynia. By the way, for everybody out there that hasn't, please like the stream. If you haven't, it would be greatly appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel. It would be much appreciated as well. It would help give the channel a much needed boost in these early days of trying to cover all these different pieces of content out here. Let's finish this off, ladies and gentlemen. A DOJ spokesperson told NPR... Oh, wait, no. I don't think that I got all of it done. Oh, no, I did. I did read this one. Pardon me. A DOJ spokesperson told NPR that the department is working, quote, around the clock to address concerns from victims and handle additional redactions of personally identifiable information that have been flagged. In view of the congressional deadline, all reasonable efforts have been made to review and redact personal information pertaining to victims, other private individuals, and protect sensitive materials from disclosure. Doesn't that say everything it needs to? Think about that in any other context, right? They're literally saying in view of the congressional deadline that was given to them. They're literally saying that they're doing this because they basically have to. That's like the most passive-aggressive fucking thing you can say in that situation possible. That'd be like if you didn't pay your fucking rent for like 5 months straight, and your landlord finally wrote to you and was like, hey, I'm going to fucking evict your ass from the property and send a sheriff with a fucking gun to throw you out if you don't fucking get out within the next 24 hours. And then you write back to that person and go, in view of the law regarding the tenants pay their rent, I have decided to pay the rent at the allocated time. It's like, that's fucking passive-aggressive as shit. Maybe you should have just paid your rent when you were supposed to earlier, not because the law mandated you to pay your rent, but because that's kind of the right and courteous thing to do, right? I guess the difference between a tenant that doesn't pay their rent and the Epstein files not being released, though, is, the magnitude of who's affected and who isn't affected. So for anybody that wants to say that my analogy right there is invalid, I guess the best way of invalidating it is pointing out that the effects of my analogy are far less fucking severe. That'd be the best way to fucking discredit it. It wasn't far enough in terms of an analogy. That said, because of the volume of information involved, the website may nevertheless contain information that inadvertently includes non-public, personally identifiable information or other sensitive content, to include materials of a sexual nature. You guys have had fucking forever to release these. You guys are acting like this is the fucking 11th hour and you're a fucking kid that forgot to do his homework until fucking 2 hours before he goes to bed the day before the oh, gee, shucks, guys. I forgot to do my chemistry homework. You guys are not only a little bit more capable of doing things than a fucking kid who forgot to do his chemistry homework, but you've had a little bit more time than that analogy, haven't you? So it doesn't really work as a fucking excuse. It kind of falls just a little bit flat, doesn't it? Well, that's that segment. On to the next segment. Immigrants use less welfare, even counting their U.S.-born children. Stephen Camarota of the Center for Immigration Studies recently criticized our research on immigrant welfare using use of a national review. His central complaint is that by classifying U.S.-born children of immigrants as natives, we fail to fully capture the fiscal burden that immigration places on the welfare state. So just to kind of translate that, they're basically saying that, oh, your statistical reporting was inadequate because it didn't capture the entire image of what was currently going on. Right? But let's take a look and see whether or not that's the case. There are many good counter-arguments to that position, such as the fact that we include immigrant children, native-born children, and non-immigrants. And the logic of Camarota's argument means that we should count all welfare consumed by native-born Americans as actually coming from immigrants, because none of us would be here without immigrants. That's true. You basically just have to account for Native Americans at that point. Good point. We've made those arguments before, so this time we decided to rerun our analysis under assumptions Camarota would seem to approve of. This time we grouped immigrants together with their US-born dependent children and compared their per capita welfare use to that of natives, excluding children with two immigrant parents. Which seems pretty fair. You do want to exclude those, otherwise it is going to skew the statistic given what's currently being examined. The results are clear. Even under this revised framework, immigrants and their children use significantly less welfare per capita than native-born Americans do. Camarota's preferred metric is the share of households that use at least one welfare program. But household use rates are an imprecise way to measure fiscal impact. A household with one member receiving a modest benefit counts the same as a household with 10 people receiving far more in total assistance, which is true. That's a very good argument. That is a very overly broad way. Isn't that kind of funny? That on one hand, they're accusing this organization of skewing the statistics, and yet right there, they're demonstrated to have done it in a way more poignant way. Obviously, we should measure it that way for that exact reason. If there's a household where 10 people are collecting it, it's going to have a little bit more of an impact than a household where one person is collecting welfare. Right? Use rates alone do not measure fiscal burden, while dollar amounts do. There's no good methodological reason to compare welfare use in households of different sizes when we can compare individuals. Just to hammer this point home, individuals all contain the same number of people. 1. just clarify for anybody out there who might be fucking confused about that. I know that's that's an oft confused talking point. How many people make up an individual? Well, if you ask the Buddhists, they might disagree. If you ask the Hindus, they might disagree too. Anyways, with households that contain different numbers, our analysis focuses on per capita welfare expenditures. Our metric captures the actual fiscal cost per person and allows for meaningful comparisons across populations with different household sizes and demographic structures. We also adjust for survey undercounting in both use rates and benefit amounts. Administrative data would be ideal, but in its absence, careful adjustments to the SIPP survey data and the best available method. Camerota does raise a fair point. U.S.-born children of immigrants would not exist in the United States had their parents not immigrated. If the goal is to estimate the total fiscal effects attributed to immigration, then including those children alongside their parents is a reasonable exercise. Of course, that argument also means that we should include the grandchildren of immigrants in the analysis, because they wouldn't be here without immigrants either. Great-grandchildren, too. On second thought, Camerota doesn't have such a good argument. I love the tone of this article so much. I love the tone of this article. This guy is being so fucking snippy with the way that he writes. I say guy, it could be a woman. It's kind of sexist of me. Let me go double check that. Who wrote this? No. Well, no, those are both... Well, Alex can kind of be an agender name. I've known like one or two female Alexes. Usually they'll try to change their name to Alexis rather than Alex, because it is a pretty male-coded name, I'm not gonna lie. It does sound male, just as far as names go. But hey, maybe that's just my horrible fascist assumptions coming up, bubbling to the surface. That's a joke for everybody in the audience, by the way. Just in case we're not clear on that. That's a joke. We've made those arguments before, so this... Oh, wait, we've already read that. We've already read that as well. Our analysis focuses on per capita welfare expenditures. Our metric captures the actual fiscal cost per person and allows for meaningful comparisons across populations with different household sizes and demographic structures. We also adjust for survey undercounting in both use rates and benefit amounts. Okay, so let's take a look. I think we've gotten enough of a understanding here. So immigrants still use less welfare when their U.S.-born children are included. So we take a look here. So the total... There's a total. We have native-born Americans. Then we have immigrants and their U.S.-born children. And it does seem like there is, in fact, one scenario where they do beat it out. Medicaid. And they beat it out by about, let's say... So that's 2,510 compared to 3,300. So it's about $800. Yeah, it's about $800 worth of difference compared to the $2,000 worth of difference in the total, which I think is a little bit important, because you've got things like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, SSI. You got all this stuff. And yeah, there's two of them here, EITC and Medicaid, where immigrants and their U.S.-born children do actually meet out over native-born Americans. But those disparities are more than made up for when you look at the total amount. So yeah, I think that's a pretty open and shut case at that point. The idea that's often used and is often made in an attempt to try and justify the mass deportation of these people is often that these immigrants are just
leeches upon American society. They're taking away from us. They're leeching all this welfare. They're leeching all these benefits away from honest, hardworking Americans. Phantom, how's it going? How's it going, Mr. Fan2D2, as Aloynia says in the side chat? Hope you're doing well today, my friend. Glad to see you come around the live stream. Always an appreciated presence over here on the YouTubes. But yeah, I think the point has been sufficiently made here. I am now going to officially state that if you want to come in, the panel is open. The panel has been released. The lock has been thrown aside. The floodgates are open. Abandon all hope, ye that enter here. Give you some Dante's Inferno. By the way, can we talk about the fact that Dante's Inferno is like one of the first examples of fan fiction in history? It's like one of the first ever examples of like, well, at least one of the first mainstream. I mean, I'm not say that that's the first ever one. People have been doing that for a while now. But it's one of the first mainstream examples of like self-insert fan fiction. I guess that's also an important clarification. Self-insertation. Because I'm sure that the argument might become at that point, well, isn't everything that's made up technically fan fiction? I guess. But how many times do you see self-insert fan fiction? Starts blurring, don't speak, doubt. I don't, that's way too old for my taste. That's way too old, I have no idea. But it probably is good. Probably sounds good. Knowing your taste in music, mysterious stranger whose identity still remains unknown. I'm going to move on to the next thing that I had pulled up here while I give people the possibility to come into the show. It is a little bit under 1 hour before I've got to work, though, so I'm not going to keep this open forever. All right? I'm not going to keep the show going on forever. I am going to be a little bit shorter form today than I have been recently. And that's strictly a time thing. I wish I had more time. Alrighty. Well, moving. Oh, I thought that I had it pulled up. Whoopsie daisy. Dagnabbit. Let's get that going. You know the Tony Braxton song I said earlier? I don't. Look, there's two main things that I'm really ignorant on, that I really have like really bad blind spots, and that's movies and music. Movies and music, I'm bad when it comes to those. I know a couple of really good examples of both, but compared to the average person, I am uncultured as fuck when it comes to movies and music. I'm working on the movie side of things. I'm trying to get a little bit more cultured when it comes to films and movies and all that shit. And I'm sure music will make its way around as well. I need to get to that, because I read a study recently. It said that you basically stop listening to new music after you turn 30. After you reach 30, you're basically not listening to new music anymore. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's just totally bunk. That kind of scared me a little bit, because I was like, oh, fuck, that's 5 years away. I'm fucking 5 years away from being 30 goddamn years old. What the hell? It's not okay. Because you know what? 25, in my opinion, I'm sure you older folk out there in the audience are like, he's 25. He's just a little kid. You know what? 25 is the first year in my life that I'm like, oh, shit. Shit's starting to get a little serious. I'm starting to get like aging, guys. What the fuck? I get the boombox joke. I get the boombox. Look, I've made that joke myself. I get the whole standing outside of somebody's room with the freaking boombox to try and freaking win over their affection again. I get that. I just don't get the specific songs that you're playing. Right? I'm not that culturally illiterate. Come on now. I at least know the fucking boombox trope. I'm not that far gone. It's an awesome song. I'm sure it is. People are just chatting music now in the side chat. They're just like, that's a great song. I'll have to listen to it at some point. I've got good headphones now too. This is like the first time in my life that I actually splurged a little bit on decent headphones. Got what are they? Yeah, they're Bayer Dynamic DT770 Pros. I bought these things because I didn't know that I needed a custom amp for it, or like a freaking signal booster or whatever the hell they call it. I tried using these things on my computer, and because like the ohm or whatever it is, like the fucking amperage on it was like super high, I tried listening to music on it, and it was like, it's like, okay, guess I gotta wait another few months until I can afford a fucking amp for this thing. So I got one. And now I'm actually, for the first time in my life, capable of listening to music in a way that isn't basically the equivalent of two tin cans strapped to each other. You know what? There might be an experience linking our generations together. Do you ever have to do the trick when you were growing up? Even back during the 90s, this was probably a thing. When you had really cheap, shitty earbuds, and you had to wrap the earbuds, you had to like wrap the cord around in a certain way because the audio wouldn't play unless you had like the cord like tensioned in such a way. You had to like jerry rig it. Oh man. And it was really embarrassing when you were like, when I'd be like walking around, you'd be able to instantly identify like the different social classes of kids going around the school, because my ilk would like, sometimes the audio would leak out because the connection would fail and their song would just start playing halfway through and people would be like, hey, you're poor. It's like, okay, like, you get me a better fucking thing of earbuds then, dickhead. Look up, don't push me, because I'm close to the edge. It's such a jungle over there. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Alrighty, will do. Will do. All right, so let's take a look at this next article. Might be the last one, ladies and gentlemen. I might be shutting her down, folks. This might be a bit of a shorter stream. That's all up to you, folks. I'm gonna read this last article, and then depending on whether or not we got anybody in here, we're gonna be closing her down for the day. All right. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Let me read the title first. Silly me. ICE deports pregnant woman who is held for 3 months with her 2 children, Joaquin Castro claims. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement over the weekend deported a woman who was just shy of being 9 months pregnant from the South Texas Family Residential Center in Dilley, U.S. Congressman Joaquin Castro confirmed Monday. The woman, Juana, whose last name was withheld due to privacy concerns, was held at Dilley for 3 months with her 2 children aged 2 and 8. She was reportedly fearful of giving birth in the detention center, where there were reports of unsanitary conditions and inadequate medical care. You don't fucking say! In these fucking hellish facilities that we've seen footage of, and they're literally just squalid fucking pits that people are just kind of shoved into and fucking forgotten about. I wonder why this woman didn't want to fucking give birth there. It's almost like we live in the goddamn 21st century and we have access to fucking medical technology and means of actually giving this woman a dignified fucking birth. Castro said in a social media post that Juana was so close to having her due date that medical experts deemed medically unsafe to fly. But authorities deported her anyway. Oh, we got our first joiner coming on to the show, Mr. Dieter DePucker. How's it going, Teeter DePucker? Ground control to Major P. Ground control to Major Pete. You joined the stream and you don't have your mic on. You see, that's a song I know. That's a song I know. That shit came
How
out.
about now? How about
Jesus
now?
fucking Christ, your audio just blew my eardrums out. Whew, that was a jump scare.
I'm going nuts. I am bullying a long-haired Satanist on a motorcycle all the way through Dallas to make sure that he's on time on a show, and then I'm watching you, and I'm watching the show that the long-haired Satanist is supposed to be on. So I'm switching back and forth all the time, while I am chatting with a Hollywood actress / science communicator who did a impersonation of Claude Balls in a bikini. So,
what?
I mean, how much more exciting can a day get?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds
you
quite
didn't-
exciting.
You didn't watch the video that I sent you?
I'm going to review it. Well, I'm not going to review that. I'm going to review. You know what? Actually,
that wasn't supposed to be reviewed. It's just a short that she posted. It's from 2020, and I noticed that she's doing a Claude Balls impersonation in her bikini. So I thought, hey,
I'll tell you what. I know the one that you sent me is super important, but I might save that one for the next show just because I don't have a hell of a lot of content pulled for my next show. So I might keep that one tucked away in my back pocket. If anything, it might give the story you sent me an opportunity to develop.
Did you cover the answers in Genesis?
Don't fucking spoil it, Peter. God damn it. That's what I was just talking about.
I mean,
for fuck's sakes, Peter. I'm trying to speak in code so that the audience doesn't know what we're talking about. And you're like, oh, by the way.
I'm sorry. I'm still chatting with the bikini girl that I've mentioned.
I have a question for you, though. Did you hit like
Yeah.
on the stream, Peter? Did you hit like on the live stream?
I hit a like somewhere. Hold on, I need to know.
I hit like on one thing.
When the hell is... okay, so that's in half an hour. Okay. Well, okay, I can go live in about half an hour, I think. Okay. What did you say? Did I hit like?
Did you hit like, Peter?
Yes.
That's the question. All right, you get to live. You get to live.
I just did.
Oh, freaking Johnny Come Likely.
I mean,
here.
how much multitasking do I need to do?
It's clicking a button, Peter. It's literally just clicking a thing. That's all.
Yeah, I can't click a button if I'm chatting on a different platform.
That's true. All right. All right.
In all fairness, you're not as attractive as the one that I'm chatting with.
Oh, I'll give you full credit where that's due. That's kind of why I cover Lupin on the show. I cover Lupin on the show because he's like the ugly friend that you bring to the mall with you so that you look cooler and nicer by comparison. Except rather than a friend, he's kind of like, like a circus freak that you keep on a chain and you keep 3 feet away from you.
I have a spoiler if you can make me large.
Make you large? No, Peter, I'm not going to let you spoil it.
No, it's not this is a waiting screen for a show.
All right.
There you go. That's who I was chatting with.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I would say she's more attractive than me, but
we will be live in half an hour.
Cool. Well, I'll definitely get this down then in less than half an hour because I don't want to step on your guys' toes.
No, I mean
you guys are gonna have way more viewers than me anyway, so I doubt that I'm really gonna be competing.
She's still building the channel, so it's not.
Peter, if you're around, she's gonna have a channel up and running in no time. Don't you worry. She's gonna. I see her going places. Is what I'm saying. Her name in lights when she's got Peter.
I mean, she worked with Neil deGrasse Tyson, wrote text for him, and she worked with Bill Nye the Science Guy. She was picked to be on his series on, what was it, Netflix? So she's been in several movies.
That was awesome. I must say,
and she was on my all-time favorite sitcom, My Name Is Earl.
oh really?
She was the hooker that in her underwear that Earl fell asleep on.
I knew immediately who you were talking about because my parents watched that show all the time. That
Me
was
too.
the show that, and that was one of the few shows my parents liked that I also liked. That like we could watch it together because they liked shit like fucking Frasier and Friends and shit like that. And it's like, no, thank you, no, thank you.
I mean,
I'm good. I'm all right.
Between Randy and oh shit, what was her name? The trailer park blonde. I forgot. Jamie Presley played the trailer park ex.
So she worked with two actors. Cool story, bro. I'll have you know, Maud, that the reason why I'm so annoying right now, you have Neil deGrasse Tyson to thank for why I'm annoying as I am today. Because if I had to name any one particular influence as far as like being formative on me at a young age, it was definitely his Cosmos series. I fucking devoured that series as a kid. I loved it. And I immediately went and watched Carl Sagan's Cosmos directly afterward. And yeah, those two are freaking titans as far as influences on me are concerned.
You are going to be so jealous of me, maybe.
Yeah, I am. You think I'm not right now?
Because you might have said the name of a certain someone that it might be possible that I'm talking to that certain someone.
No, you're not.
Sometimes.
No, you're not. No, you're
Yes.
not. No, you're not. You are not.
It's all about connections.
Dude, I'm glad it's you and not me, because I'll tell you what, if I was in a room with that guy, I would be just like Jamie was in that short. I'd be like, That is exactly how I'd be. I would fanboy so fucking hard.
Dude, I mean, that happened to me, but so I've talked to Neil Shubin, the guy who found Tiktaalik. I've talked to, keep forgetting his name, Anderson or whatever, the guy who found Lucy.
One quick second.
I talked to him. I talked to Sean Carroll. So it's kind of weird. Some stupid idiot from the Netherlands gets to talk to all of these people. That's just.
All right, I'm back.
It's insane.
I have returned.
You have returned.
What are you doing now? What are you doing that conversation, Peter? Because I'm watching the shit out of that.
What?
Or are you going to do a public conversation, or are you going to just kind of talk behind closed doors?
So first we're going to talk behind closed doors and see if we can set up a public conversation.
Damn.
So, but I still have a few that I also have to do. I also want to have my brain is done for the day.
Bubblegum was hyperventilating talking to Andrew Wilson a couple of weeks back. Mr. Wilson, I'm just such a big fan of you, Mr. Wilson. I wouldn't be that bad.
Isn't that the shitbag that went after Arden?
I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard this Andrew Wilson's guy name come up a whole bunch of times recently. Isn't he like a Christo-fascist? I mean, Christian nationalist?
Yeah, he's the reason that the big names no longer go on modern day debate.
Got it. Oh, Aiden, you should check out Creation Myths. He's doing a debate boot camp that I thought you might be interested in. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
That'd be neat. I met Kevin. You met Kevin Nash? That's awesome.
Also,
I remember you telling that story forever ago, Mysterious Stranger. Yeah, I remember that.
What the hell was his name? My names are going. Oh, the Gospelogin. You might want to watch the Gospelogin too. He has a great way to quit porn. He's currently on chapter 22 of quitting porn. So apparently it's not as easy as you would think. These are hour-long shows, I think. So this guy had a really rough time quitting porn.
You know, I try not to dog on those people too crazy much because
I do, because I had him on my show and he was a prick.
I mean, if he's a prick, that's one thing, right? Like, okay, if they're being assholes, then fair enough. But like the gambling industry, the porn industry is basically set up to get you addicted. It's basically set up to basically make you just fucking sit there all goddamn day long and go, ugh. You know?
I have been known to watch porn, but I mean, I don't need a 22-hour long course to quit porn. What the fuck is wrong with you if you need 22
if you're that
hours?
Far gone, if you're that far gone, then you need a 20.
That can only happen to a Christian. I mean,
that's like half of the ice trade.
How hooked are you, and how much do you not want to quit if it takes you a 22-hour course over the period of 2 weeks?
Yeah, that's pretty hopeless at that point.
3 weeks. 3 weeks, because he's on 22 now, so that's 22 days that he's been posting this shit. And I bet after every episode he's going to watch porn.
All right, I'm going to finish reading this article.
That phrasing. When we're talking about porn, you can't say I'm going to finish.
I said finish reading this article, Peter.
Oh.
Jeez.
Oh,
and by the way, they stopped using phrasing on Archer, so get out of here with that.
Oh,
I was watching that recently. Is that where you're getting that from? It's from Archer.
Oh, Big Bad Mama's here. He missed my comment from earlier. Yes, Big Bad Mama, I am running this show, and I see everything. So,
Big Bad Mama only requires just a little teaspoon of porn every single day. He's like, his butler wakes up and he's like, yes, Master Mama, would you like your daily porn fix, sir? And he's like, yes, I think I shall.
In all fairness, if you go on the walks that Big Bad Mama goes on, you do not need porn. I'm just saying. I'm extremely jealous. I mean, those landscapes, we don't have those here. I'm expecting a ticket to fly me over and have me join one of those walks, Big Bad Mama, at least.
You guys have got some pretty nice beauty in the Netherlands, but it's pretty much all artificially created. Like, all of your guys is... Well, I mean, like, okay, you guys got a nice park or two. Don't get me wrong, but you can see a nice park almost fucking anywhere.
I recently could spring something on Deviant Outcast, who is the #1 go-to person when it comes to pyramids. And Deviant Outcast did not know that there was a pyramid only, I think, 45 minutes away from me.
You guys
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either, but I mean, hey. And you know what the pyramid is made out of?
What's it made out of?
What's short for Peter?
It's made out of peat?
Yes.
Oh god, I remember as soon as I said that, I was like, shit, he's told this joke already.
Yeah.
And I just forgot.
I mean, they have to restore it every 3 or 4 years because it's just falling apart due to the rain. But
all right.
Yeah,
so, like I was saying, I'm gonna
have I interrupted you from finishing?
Not anymore. You're not. Not anymore. Got to get reined in, Mr. DeTucker, every once in a while. Peter.
What do you mean?
Finish reading this. I'm gonna finish.
We had 2 spring days. We're finally getting rid of the rain, and now you want to rein me in.
That's right. That's right. And you know why, Peter? Because they got work.
No.
Some people got gerbs they got to go to. All right? Just because it's like 9:30 p.m. or whatever it is where you're at now, and everybody's like...
Work is great, but it just messes with your leisure time. So I stopped doing that.
Work.
I stopped working.
Hard work.
No, I stopped working in 2000, and I really like it. No, not 2000.
Work all day.
2019.
Hard work. I earn my pay. It's a good song.
I quit my job in 2000, started working for myself, and then stopped working altogether in 2019. It's best thing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, early retirement. Who doesn't want early retirement? Peter, I'd rather the bog people visit than you. Oh damn! Big bad
man.
out here.
That's just rough. That
is rough. You know it's rough.
And the problem is that I live about 10 minutes away from the nearest bog. Not kidding.
That's probably the furthest a Dutchman could get from a bog. Quite frankly, that's like the property in the Netherlands. You are 10 minutes away from the nearest.
Yeah,
bog.
but we got everything better. I mean, if you look at the Americans, what do the Americans got? They got Bigfoot. Do you know what we got? We got white wives.
Yeah.
They will snatch you up and they will take you somewhere and ravish you. Not kidding. There's a Wikipedia page on it. Just Google white wives. It's a thing. And they live in the bog, by the way.
Big Bad Mama, check your Facebook. Check your Facebook, Mr. Big Bad Mama. Much obliged.
Oh, by the way, did you dox Freddy?
Oh, right. I need to do that. Hold on.
No, you need to do that when Spooky's here.
That's true.
I don't think Spooky's here anymore. But when you see Spooky, just put up that picture and say Freddy says hi. Spooky will know.
All right. Duly noted. I'll keep that in my back pocket.
And then you will have kinda doxed Spooky, but not really.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, Peter, I'm gonna mute you because I have to.
Again?
I have to. I literally have no choice.
No, you don't have to.
I have no choice. All right. So I'm going to finish reading this article, and then I'm going to shut the show down. Alrighty. So, Castro said in a social media post that Juana was so close to her due date that medical experts deemed her medically unsafe to fly, but authorities deported her anyway. Quote, when ICE first attempted to deport her, doctors and airlines refused to clear her for travel because she was too close to her due date, said the Democratic congressman, whose district includes San Antonio. Quote, but ICE shopped around for a doctor and airline that would be complicit in this cruelty. Let me see here the original post. ICE deported Juana 36 weeks into her pregnancy over the weekend. She had been at Dilley Trailer Prison for 3 months with her 2 young children. She was fearful of giving birth while imprisoned. When ICE first attempted to deport her, doctors and airlines refused to clear her. Juana said that the stress is so bad that her hair is falling out, that she can't take it anymore. I'm gravely concerned that ICE... Oh, wait. Sorry, I clicked onto another tab that isn't being shown. I forgot that it won't show that when I click onto a different tab. Just to continue that post, it says, Juana said that the stress is so bad that her hair is falling out, that she can't take it anymore. I'm gravely concerned that ICE is failing to meet the most basic medical needs of expecting mothers like Juana while imprisoned. Treating pregnant women and their unborn children with such cruelty is unconscionable. I will continue to inspect Dilley and uncover how ICE is treating pregnant women, who they hid from me during my last oversight inspection, to ensure their safety and well-being. We must shut down Dilley and free our children. I'm just going to jump back to the article just to read what accompanying text is down there at the bottom. Univision reporter Lydia Terrazas confirmed Juana's fear of giving birth inside the Dilley camp in her reporting on the incident. She worried that she's going to deliver her baby surrounded by guards and ICE agents, Terrazas said in a Friday Instagram post. On a Friday afternoon press call, Castro told reporters that Dilley officials, quote, were hiding the pregnant women from him during his visit to the facility earlier that day. He said several of the pregnant detainees were taken to a medical facility in Laredo for the day. San Antonio Current reported. Castro said that he did not think that it was coincidence that the center's off-site medical appointments coincided with his visit. Yeah, I'm sure they fucking weren't. He said that he specifically wanted to speak to Juana, who was due to give birth at any moment. After activists and influencers raised concerns over the weekend about Juana's unknown whereabouts, Terrazas confirmed that she was deported. The SA Current said that it had served as the free, independent voice of San Antonio since 1986 and appealed for readers to become supporters for as little as $5 a month to help it continuing offering coverage of local news, food, nightlife events, and culture with no paywalls. Terrazas followed Juana to her home country of Guatemala. Terrazas Instagram stories showed that the pregnant woman lounging in a hammock away from the stresses of the cramped trailer prison. Well, I'm glad that she at least made it safely. We at least have that little consolation that she's there and that she at least gets to give birth in sanitary conditions. You know, in conditions that hopefully aren't making her fucking hair fall out anymore. Is that really a happy ending? Not really, when it was specifically requested that she not be deported because of the risks involved in that. But thankfully, it seems like she hasn't miscarried or anything like that. So it's probably the closest thing to a happy ending we really could have had, given the really unfortunate circumstances that took place there. So, with that being said, I think that I am going to be shutting the show down for the day. Everybody out there in the side chat, Big Bad Mama, Hayden Modton, Eloinia, let's see, we got Phantom, Peter, Wildheart was here earlier, Sophia Daisy May, we got Jens Anderson, he was up in here earlier as well, Spooky, as always, much appreciated chat lurker, Achilles was here earlier, I saw as well. No BS Lewis today. Anyways, not that that matters or anything. Peter, do you have any brief closing statements you would like to make before we shut the show down?
Yeah. If you want to see a baby that was pushed away by his mama, and we're talking about it, also known as Punch, watch Natalia Reagan in a bit.
Got it. Duly noted. Well, with that being said, we're going to be closing her down for the day. Thank you to everybody who has been here. Much appreciated, and have a good one.